They were trying to resuscitate my baby and they couldn't. So like I was pacing back and forth, like I didn't know what to do. So I just want to make a correction. I didn't lose my daughter. Hashem took my daughter.
I'm getting chills right now just remembering exactly that moment. Your youngest daughter passed away, unfortunately.
I was constantly amazed at your reaction. The chizuk that you had definitely had an impact on the whole community.
Those who believe don't have questions. Those who don't, there's no answers. If you don't believe, no matter what I tell you, you're not gonna accept the answer.
You said that Judaism is a way of life, but is that enough to define a Jew? Because if a person just starts acting like a Jew, but he's not connected to the original forefathers, meaning it's also family.
We came from Abraham, Yitzhak, Yaakov, and Yaakov's sons, and that's our family.
Like
that's
a
our
genealogy.
lineage.
I tell people the reason why I'm not cheating is the same reason I do cheeseburgers. Do you eat cheeseburgers? Like sometimes we like to, oh, that's it? Oh my God, oh yeah. Look what is he got, you understand?
We like drama.
We like drama.
I just want you to know that I want to go to a place where I find you, a place I call home, a place where I'm not alone, and maybe I'll grow just a little bit more, and I'll be adored, then I'll be adored.
Welcome to the next edition of the Kosher Controversy Podcast. It's good to see everybody here again. Busy times, but nevertheless, we still make time to try to bring awareness and information to the community. It's the original guys here, but we also have a very special guest who I was just informed was voted, a very prestigious award this year on some Instagram
Not this year,
channel.
2025.
2025, last year.
Last year.
We have Rabbi
Shlomo
Nisanov, who is one of the original Bukharian rabbis of our community, but his reach and his influence is much wider than just our community. Thank you for being on the podcast.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you for everybody. Thank you. I'm very proud to be still considered young, even though I'm old. Yes.
Like,
So,
I think
Rabbi, first I want you to introduce yourself about how you got, how you're in, not only that you're Baharian, but how your Kehila is over, 35 years now?
36.
36 years.
1990.
1990 they started, so you're one of the original
Yes.
Kehila in the Baharian community. So just want you to bring up who you are and
Okay, so thank you very much. B'shut, all these people over here, so there's a lot of Levi here, I gotta say. I immigrated here from the Soviet Union, 1980, and I've been a rabbi since Rosh Chodesh Adar, 1990.
that was the day that you got your smicha?
Yeah.
Wow, what a day.
We opened so I was a 19-year-old kid, and the rest is history. We've been around for 36 years. This February is going to be 37 years.
in that one spot?
No.
Oh, okay.
We started in Briarwood. It's now Briarwood Jewish Center, where Rabbi Kaziev is Rabbi Nachum Kaziev.
Which is
No, Nachum
a different Kazir.
Yeah, that's different.
Yeah,
Kaziev.
that's different Kazir.
That's not the Levi. This is the original. These are the originals. Not to say Rabbi Nachum is not Kaziev, but Rabbi Avra Kaziev Shul there. And we've been moved around. We went on Main Street, and then we are currently in our current location of 15062, almost 30 years. My son Nisan was born, and that's where we moved in. Currently, Baruch Hashem, I've been active. I grew up on Tom and Jerry, not Dupagadi. Okay, I learned how to speak Russian in America.
I watched both actually. I remember both cartoons.
Yeah, but I also
They had a lot in common. Who copied who? That's my question.
No.
I think Nupagadi is older.
No. Tom and Jerry is older. It depends who you ask. Okay,
You know what's sad? Most of the people watching this podcast right now probably don't know what either one of those cartoons are.
What that? Tom and Jerry? Come on. Who doesn't know Tom and Jerry?
Kind of died
Yeah,
out.
but anyway, we started at the collapse of the Soviet Union, and thank God we've been growing ever since. I'm very proud to say that I'm considered the original OJ, whatever you call it.
Original rabbi.
Original rabbi, or whatever. And the rest is history. I'm very happy to see. I've been politically active. We're trying to bring the like to say I'm a proud BA. BA stands for Bukharian American, and not BS, not bull or something else I want to say. But, then thank God. So,
Hold on, Rabbi, you said you were here in 1990, but according to
1980.
1980.
Yeah.
But
I opened the shul in 1990.
But didn't the Soviet Union collapse in 1991 under Gorbachev?
Yeah, no, it collapsed at the beginning, right. If you look at your 1990, somewhere at that time, I don't know.
So how did you get out 10 years earlier?
We came out, we were Israeli visas. At that time, we were the what do you call, the original guys who were like we came out, we were supposed to go to Israel. Ladisvili, we lived 2 months in Italy. And we came, for us, the first Pesach in America was a week before Passover. We came March 27th, 1980. First Shabbat we were, and I remember my mother, she threw out all the cookies. They were like, they're so stupid Americans, they gave us cookies. They were all kosher for Passover. So like we didn't know they're kosher. Like, they're so crazy. Why they gave us cookies before Passover? We took everything out. Like, we didn't know. It's like, how do you have kosher for Passover cookies? It's potato starch. Tastes awful. But and that's it. I'm very proud to say, and I mentioned that I've been always in yeshiva. I never went to public school. I spoke in public school, Forest Hills High School, or Bukharian High, or now it's Uzbek High. But that's it. Thanks to my parents, I was always in yeshiva. My father said I came to America for us to go to yeshiva. And when we came, just to give you an idea, we were paying in Dara Gardens for a one-bedroom junior $272.
Nice.
When we came, it was still 50 cents.
What was 50 cents?
Metro.
Oh.
The bus and the metro was 50 cents. Yeah. And my parents, they walked from Dara Gardens to 71st Continental.
Because they didn't want to pay the metro.
That's right. Because my father and my parents, they were paying $50 a month for myself and my sister to go to yeshiva.
$50 a month?
A month.
At
At
that
that time.
Wow. Wow, what an investment.
When it was $227 for one
apartment,
bedroom junior,
So it's basically a fourth of your rent.
it's like, it is. And you know what?
Almost 40 years ago.
Now it's half your rent.
That's right, 47 years ago, to be exact, and 46 years ago. And my grandfather was a rabbi, and all the way I have a family which is going to 1645. So my grandfather was a rabbi, and his father, and his father, and his father.
And now your son.
And now, well, thank God, my son is also a rabbi.
Was your father a rabbi also?
My father was not. My uncle, my father's generation, is skipped. Because, they grew up on the communism. My grandfather was a registered communist, and he was the first Bukharian Jew to get Order Lenin, which is the highest medal of honor, from Stalin himself.
For what? What did he do?
Because he was a director of a Bukharian school. So Bukharianism, Bukharian was ethnic.
Right.
So look, you had Uzbek school, you had Russian school, you have Bukharian school.
Wow.
So my great-grandmother was killed by the Ottoman, they called the Bosmach. Because, who's the one person, the one community that has no allegiance to the people, to the indigenous population? That's the Jew.
So you touched on a point. You said that the Jews were always, in those areas persecuted because they had no allegiance to any particular place. How do we define the Jewish identity? Because it's a big point of controversy now. Is it an ethnicity? Is it a religion? Is it something else entirely?
So you're touching something. I want to go for the record.
Yes.
People define Judaism as a religion. I define Judaism, because that's how we came from, as a way of life. I remember as a child, I was graduating first class, over there, first grade is 7 years old. So I remember this like yesterday, and there were 2 Jewish kids in the classroom. And they would go around, like you would think, like if you're communist, you're not supposed to remember your ethnicity, even on your stupid passport, I'm sorry. In America, it doesn't say what religion you are, it just says the country.
It says the country you're born.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I should have wrote Russia. My mother wrote Russia, and I wrote Uzbekistan. It was crazy. Before it was USSR,
Yeah.
So when the USSR broke apart, then you have to write something else. I should have put Russia. My mother put Russia, so she's lucky. So, but anyway, because every time I put Uzbekistan, they put me on the side. Like pull me aside, especially after 2011. Suleiman.
Told them I'm Jewish.
Yeah, relax. Yeah, but,
See my people.
yeah, no, they don't care. But so the point was, so first of all, and the lady says, I would love to give you a 5, Picherka, which is the highest grade, but because you're Jew, I'm going to give you a 4.
She said that.
To my face.
Wow.
Like I'm 7 years
7-year-old
old. So I told her, okay, I'm not Jewish. What, you're telling me because of my Judaism? I don't know what the hell that means. You're giving me a 4 because you can't give me a 5. Because if you get everything 5, you get a special recognition. You get like a blue ribbon or something like that.
You can't have that.
I can't have that. And I came home crying to my mother. I said, Mom, I have kids who are stupider than me, and they got 5s, and I couldn't get a 5 because I'm a Jew. What does that mean? Okay, I don't want to be a Jew. So my mother calmed me down and says, don't worry, it's okay, it's all right. Like to me, so I never, when we came here, I never looked like it's a religion, I looked at it as a way of life. Unfortunately, in America, you have different levels of Judaism. You have conservative, reform, the mayor of New York calls me a progressive rabbi.
Really?
Me progressive? Why am I progressive? Because he says, you're so open-minded, you're politically involved.
That has nothing to do with being progressive.
I thank you. I know that. But
Progressive in the liberal sense is if you allow
gay marriage,
transgender.
Yeah, by the way, I got a phone call like that. Daily News called me up asking me how do I feel about gay marriage.
Daily News, where they wanted to bring an interview or something?
Yeah, they called me up because, they said, how do I feel about it?
Mm-hmm.
I said, how do I feel about it? We live in a democratic country. I said to the reporter, I said, you know what? In New York State, polygamy is outlawed.
But gay marriage is allowed.
So I said, wait a second. I said to the person, wait a minute. It's polygamy, right? You have, if you are married, and you don't nullify the first marriage, you could be arrested for second marriage. So, but there's certain states in outside of
Utah.
In Utah where they let. That's every man's dream to have a second wife. Why do we have to? Where do you draw the line? What happens if tomorrow a brother and a sister want to get married? Why is that considered?
Or somebody wants to marry their dog.
Oh yeah, or God forbid, and so on and so forth. I said, guys, where do you draw the line? Why do you call that a marriage? Now I have to go and explain to my child, you could have, the sin. I have to tell my child that God created Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. What's going on here? So you putting the light on me, on a difficult. You know what I mean? Why do you have to recognize it? You cannot discriminate anyone based on race, religion. So I told the interviewer, I said, listen, we live in a free country. Judaism is, and always will be a religion of choice. You cannot force someone to be Jewish. You understand? That's why we don't have a blessing, thank God I'm a Jew. We have a blessing, Shelo Asani Goy. You cannot have a blessing, thank God I'm a man, because there's different levels of manhood. There's certain guys, they shouldn't mention that they're a man because you look like worse than a woman, man. Come on. A man means, the Gemara says, a man is the sun, the woman is the moon. The sun gives light to the moon. Not the moon gives light to the sun. You have guys who think, well, my wife, if she wants to have a relationship, if she wants to have a, shalom bayit, which called family harmony, she has to be the one to respect me. I said, listen to me. First of all, Adam said, I want a wife. Not Eve said, I want a husband. Understand? And the Torah says, it's lo tov liot Adam levado. It says it's not good for man to be by himself. And statistically, single men have a 5.5 year shorter life expectancy than married men. By the woman, it's the opposite. Single women have a 5.5 year longer life expectancy than married women. So it's very simple. If you're not married, you don't go through a stupid guy who has, mental issues. You don't send, then you don't get pregnant, then you don't have, you guys, you have to like the Gemara says, if the wife is sick, the whole house is sick.
Yeah.
If the husband is sick, the wife has a vacation.
No,
Lie down. That's it.
not the way that men behave these days.
Yeah, like-
They're very needy.
Yeah.
I remember when my father didn't feel well. Okay, you know, my mother was taking care of my father. She took care of us and her parents, everybody. But when my mother got sick, oh my God, we had pizza for a whole week. I had nightmares about pizza. I had a nightmare the pizza was going to eat me already. Like, how much pizza can we have already? But you know what I mean.
So,
And it's
Rabbi,
so important.
with the permission, I want to get back to you. You said that Judaism is a way of life, but is that enough to define a Jew? Because if a person just starts acting like a Jew, but he's not connected to the original forefathers, meaning it's also family. He likes to use the word. I think Danny told me.
Yeah, my take on it, I think we should all go around and say what you think of Judaism, how you would define it. I like to see it as a family.
Meaning you have to be part of that family.
It's not an ethnicity.
It's a blood thing.
I don't see it as religion. I don't see it as a nationality. You can't label it in any of that. I think the best label is a family. We came from Abraham, Yitzhak, Yaakov, and Yaakov's sons, and that's our family.
Like
That's
a
our
genealogy.
lineage.
But what do you say about
That's
converts,
our
though?
lineage. Converts, you have adopted.
We adopt them into the family.
So if I may interject, Judaism is a family unity.
Right.
Judaism is the only branch where we say, the Torah says, the Bible says, "Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha." Love your neighbor
Like
as you love yourself. So, rule number one, you have to love yourself. If you don't love yourself, you cannot love anyone.
Someone else.
Number one. Number two, we believe in the unity of God, in the unity of family. See, since we believe we came from Adam and Eve, and not so Homo sapiens and not, evolution. So my connection, is to the previous generation.
Right.
There's a reason the fifth commandment of the 10 Commandments is honor your father and mother. It does not say honor God. Because not only that, the Gemara goes even deeper. It says if a person cannot respect your father and mother, you cannot respect God. You don't respect the people who gave you life. You're going to respect something you never spoke to. And if there's a guy comes around and says, I just spoke to God, take him to a nut house.
Nowadays.
Yes, you can't say, God spoke to me. Oh my God, which God? Which one? Well, which one we're talking about here? And to correct it, to make the correction is you have to understand, don't mix Jews with Judaism.
Don't mix Jews with Judaism?
Yeah, in other words,
You
unfortunately.
can have a Jew who's not Jewish. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, no. Sometimes we associate, and I always say, unfortunately, I learned the hard way. Don't mix rabbis, because you have female rabbis, you have rabbis who are a little bit, off the deep end. Like you have all kinds. Then you have.
No, those are not real rabbis.
Well, again. I met somebody who said, I met a domlo or dolma, whatever you call them. And I called him dolma. Dolma is stuffed cabbage. Yeah. So instead of, and they said that he had 3 wives. How do you have 3 wives? Well, he went from one town to the next, and he said that it's not good for a man to be by himself, so he had to get married. You see, he's taking religion and he's finding a way.
Was he a religious person, or are you just using it when it's convenient for him?
Exactly. So, again,
He's using it to serve him.
exactly. So, the Gemara says, if you don't use the Torah for your benefit, in other words, don't make it convenient for you. We have to understand. So, to go back a little bit, it's a way of life because religion is the opium of the people. I believe in what Karl Marx said. We're not a religious people. We are an observant people.
Meaning you don't like the word religion because of the baggage that it comes with,
Exactly.
and the negative viewpoints that it comes with.
That's right. Because for everything that is prohibited, there's a way out. Think about it. On Shabbat, am I allowed to drive a car?
Unless there's a life and death situation.
Exactly. So on Yom Kippur, you're not allowed to eat. But not if your life is in jeopardy. Forget about it. Right. We had people, you had in your shul, somebody fainted. So no one said, okay, I'm sorry, no drinking,
Let him die.
No,
It's his atonement.
Excuse me. Let's
not
go,
black and
let's
white
get him
like
a cup of water, you know what I mean? We had a person last year, only a couple of years ago in my shul, where an old lady, she fainted. My wife called the ambulance on Yom Kippur.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
But no, that was for kids. We had an older one. We had an elder person.
No, I remember the older person.
But you understand my point?
V'chai b'hem.
V'chai b'hem. Excellent. You see, so I like to use the word, there is a difference between, this is a fancy American word, assimilation, acculturation. So I'm a acculturated Bukharian. My father did not have a tie like this, my grandfather, you know what I mean? This is a Gucci tie. I didn't know that. Okay. I didn't know it's a Gucci tie, 100% silk tie. I'm wearing, I have an iPhone, which is 17, 18, I don't know which one is already, but all I know is this iPhone is 256 gigabytes. It has more power than my computer. So I am acculturated, but at the same time, I'm a proud Bukharian.
So where's that balance, though? Because you have that iPhone, but many other kids on this, from our neighborhood who have that iPhone also have it when they're using it for things that are taking them further away from God.
So good.
And maybe all of us are as well. This thing is a very addictive thing. It's the most addictive product ever created in history.
So I tell you something. This phone has a screen time.
Right.
So, and I like from time to time. So it gives me an update. It says, okay, this week your screen time was 4 hours.
Average a day.
No, a week.
For the whole week, 4 hours?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So that'd be a record. And the low side.
No, I meant to say that's what I use the bathroom. So, but otherwise, I tell people, people use this phone to pray from. I tell people in the shul, put it away.
Yeah. Notifications.
No, it's so like my sons, which he knows, they got rid of their iPhone. They took a flip phone. They want a dumb phone. And I didn't tell them. And my youngest, who's 18, he has a filter on his phone. Again, so the question is, I'm 55. If I have so much free time, I'm gonna, you know what I mean? So for the record, I have ADHD. If I'm sitting in front of a screen, I'm gonna be watching. So in order for me, and not if I'm gonna fall asleep if I sit too long. So I have to be always moving. So again, acculturation is different than assimilation. Assimilation is you lose your way of life. I want people to be Bukharian. And not because of the plov or the bachshti. Who cares about that? I don't care. I'm talking about you could speak English. My kids don't speak Bukharian. He knows that. They never did. I grew up here.
Only Gedalia knows Russian.
Yeah, I know. And he's so proud of it because I can't use any secret words. He's like, he loves it. His grandparents love the fact that he knows the old language. A kind of, a cool type. But again, I don't believe that's what defines Bukharianism. I'll tell you what defines Bukharianism. Bukharian is the fact that we know each other. Bukharian defines of the fact of the tragedy I just went through when I lost my daughter. What's going on? I didn't know so many, people were calling me, people were in shock. I was like, but we are one. We are family.
For the record, last year, a year ago, around this time, the rabbi went through a very big tragedy. Those who don't know,
the community went through a big tragedy.
Right,
with
where
loss of your
the
daughter.
rabbi lost his daughter.
Last Monday was the 1 year yortzeit of Aliza, right? Aliza Bat Ora.
I think we all remember when it happened.
Where I was when I heard
I
it.
was too.
When I found out, I was on vacation. And when I got the news, I got the news.
In court. I was the last person out of 100 people in Long Island court. I was the only one in the courthouse
For a speeding ticket or
for a
something?
speeding ticket at Long Island. And then one of my friends, who you know very well, a neighbor told me the news. Because in the beginning, that morning, nobody knew who it was, from my understanding. It just knew it was a girl in Miami. And then when we found out, we were all in shock.
It's crazy because I was the gabbai of your son's shul, so a lot of people messaged me thinking maybe I knew something because I'm so close to your son and you're the family.
Yeah,
and
I called you.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure
people
it
are
was real.
contacting me like, what's going on? And I'm on vacation. I have no idea what's going on. This was around 3, 4 o'clock, I think, or 4, 5. I don't remember.
Yeah.
And
4
people are
o'clock in the
people are texting, what happened to the rabbi's daughter? What happened to the rabbi's daughter? And first of all, daughters, it was plural.
Right.
So it was both. And then I was like, guys, I have no idea what's going on. I'm awake. And then I remember I called Yona, your oldest son, and that's when he started telling me like there was an accident, and I was just like, I'm getting chills right now just remembering exactly that moment. And I mean, I'm sure everybody already heard the story, but it was a jet ski accident in Fort Lauderdale, I believe, and your youngest daughter passed away, unfortunately. So just
I was constantly amazed at your reaction. The chizuk that you had definitely had an impact on the whole community.
I told the Rav last year, people were coming up to me and after everything that happened and telling me, how is the rabbi not upset? Like, how is he not angry? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, that's a question for him, but you said it perfectly on her levaya, that, how did you say it? A person, how did you say, you know the saying very well,
People, those who believe have no questions, those who don't have no answers.
There you go.
And so I just want to make a correction. I didn't lose my daughter. Hashem took my daughter. You know, you lose your money, you lose your sanity, you lose your health, you misplace stuff, you lose money, but you don't lose a child. And because there is no way about to explain it. I don't know. I really thought I lost both my kids, both my daughters, because it happened in front of my eyes, my wife's eyes. We were together on the other jet ski, and like was mentioned, it was a shock to the whole community. I got phone calls from the governors, both from Governor DeSantis, Governor Hochul's office, our congressmen, our assembly people. I did not know till 7 o'clock when the doctors said that they lost my daughter. They couldn't save her. But they did save my oldest, which I knew because my wife and I, we took them out of the water. Mm-hmm. So I knew my oldest daughter, she opened her eyes, she started crying. But by the time we got into the ambulance, they were trying to resuscitate my baby and they couldn't. So I was pacing back and forth, I didn't know what to do. But people, they were already announcing, I'm looking at the news articles that came up, they were announcing already at 5 o'clock that she didn't make it. I didn't know nothing about it. I don't have my phone on me. This is so crazy. I'm sitting there, pacing back and forth, and there's a state trooper.
You had a cut, right?
I was there. They got stitches, I had cuts over here, I'm trying to. No, it's different.
Oh, that's not different? Okay.
This side, the head over here is. They stitched me up over here, and they keep telling me, wait, and we had a police the whole time. People were coming, I couldn't get through. I called my son, I called my mother, and my mother didn't pick up because I don't have my phone. I'm not calling her from my phone. But on many levels, that's when the community came together in more ways. And I don't know. I don't think I will know, but all I know is that we are not here to question. And unfortunately, my grandparents went through this. My uncle passed away, 42 years old, leaving behind 5 kids. He walked out, and the next thing he came back in a body bag. And to this day, we don't know what happened. And my grandparents were alive. My father was alive. My uncles, everybody was alive. And you don't ask questions, because the fact is someone passed away. As I mentioned it, I just want to know what happened because what the good thing about this whole tragedy is they finally arrested these guys. My daughter was the 7th or 8th person to die from this jet ski company.
Really?
It's like, yeah, it's like ridiculous. Like, when the inspectors came to me and they said they've been under investigation, like, thank God the table was bolted. I just wanted to flip the table on the guy. I said, they were under investigation. There was no warning, no like, hello, be careful. A week before some other kid, 15-year-old died from the same company. Like, what's going on? Are you crazy? And because of my high visibility and of such a public person, where the governors and everybody called up, this was like kept going on the show, and thanks to the people in the community and how I kept talking about it. Like you saw that, was this interview, that interview, and they kept asking the same question. The inspector who did the interview, they said, because I went to the police academy, they asked the same thing 10 times. And you got to say the same thing again and again and again. I kept telling my wife, we cannot say maybe, we have to talk yes, no. What happened? What, this, where, when? And because of that, they had a real real case. And they finally arrested the people. They were under investigation for 7 years. How the heck they kept going from one place to another. And because of this, they put the jet skis away from the boats, because she lost control because of the wake of the boat, because the waves, because that's why it was, she lost control. But see, things like that bring us together. Like, everyone knows like where we were at that moment when this happened, because and I believe people know you. You know what I mean? It's my father used to say, if you do something stupid and they ask you, who's your father? Just say, I don't know. Like, don't mention my name. I say, like, Dad, I know who you are. No, but just mention your mother's name. Don't mention, like, what? I know who my father is. No, don't embarrass me.
And when they give you a reward, make sure you tell them.
Like,
your father.
Who's your father? And and again, and I believe in that tremendously. I really believe in using your, what would you say, your star power for good. Okay. And, that's something that's, so again, just to rephrase, I believe it's a way of life. And, and that's why we don't say, thank God I'm a Jew. We say, thank God I'm not a non-Jew. That's the way we agree on, because there's different levels of Judaism. Certain people are more observant, certain people less. But at the same time, we're not here to judge. I want to make it very clear. We're not here to judge why you like this and why you like. Listen, I grew up all my life and never felt not religious. So I've been always in yeshiva. I always knew what was kosher, not kosher. Unfortunately, there are kids who grew up not knowing the difference between kosher and not kosher.
That was us. We're all, we had to discover it and find it.
Yeah. So again, this is, so how can I judge you? How can I judge you? How can you were not, My own father wanted me to marry a girl off the boat, In Bukhari, they say, "Gugna fasech kur," like blind, mute, and deaf. I said, I don't want a girl with disability, like blind, mute, and deaf. Like, what kind of a girl is that?
Rabbi, let me ask you a question. You said that we cannot judge. We got a lot of heat because a certain clip that we released sounded like we were being very judgmental. If you guys remember, we were talking about specifically, there's a group of girls who are religious in this when they're in the Queens neighborhood amongst us, meaning they cover their hair and they wear long sleeves, but all of a sudden, apparently, when they go on vacation, they don't cover anything. Like, everything comes off. So we at that moment when he just mentioned it, was like, wow, really? It was very a passionate opposition to that. Like, we said, hold on, like God is not wherever you're going on vacation, He's not there. He's disappeared. So all the comments all of a sudden said to us, don't judge, don't judge, don't judge. Is it fair to criticize at least when something egregious like that happens? We're not talking about people who are completely don't know anything about religion or who are not educated. We're talking about people who keep it, but all of a sudden decide to blatantly go do the opposite just because they're outside of the community. Was that wrong on our part? in your opinion?
I don't think it's criticism. I think it's more of an opinion. Because criticism sounds worse than judging.
Really? No, I think judging sounds
But
worse
it's
than
basically the same
criticism.
thing. Because you're essentially saying that your thoughts or your opinion is better than their actions.
We didn't judge, guys. We're not
didn't.
God. We didn't judge. We just gave our perspective on the
Right,
situation.
but a negative perspective.
But that's
is
a judgment.
It's not a judgment.
Because here's my thing. Whether you like it or not, people are always judging you.
Exactly.
This is a fact of life you cannot escape. So the faster you accept that, the faster you can move on in life and adjust and grow the proper way. Correct?
So-
it's an automatic human response.
So first let's back up a little bit.
Sure.
Everyone, we all judge people.
And people judge us.
Exactly. So that's why the Pirkei Avot says, "Havedan et kol adam lechav zchut." Judge person, but judge him favorably. When I said don't judge, I meant to say don't judge in a negative way. You understand? Like people could say, "Yeah, you're kind of rabbi, you're wearing a gray suit." Like my grandfather used to say, like you have a beard. I said, Kazot тоже бороду имеет. Like the goat also has a beard. Like what do I have to do with my facial hair? There was a time I didn't want to have facial hair. But this everybody I'm talking about, it's a long talk, I'm sorry. Everybody has facial hair. Like it's like, you know what I mean? So my point is, when I say don't judge, I meant to say don't judge in a negative way. It's number one. Number two, even the Gemara brings down, if you want to do something wrong, change your clothes and go somewhere else and do it. So I want to ask, yeah, exactly. What does that mean? Like,
So they have a
go ahead.
Gemara that backs them up?
No, you have to explain this to my brother, Rabbi, a little bit more in detail.
So let me, what that means
It's
is,
not saying go do it.
exactly. Just
If you can't control yourself
Exactly.
and you're gonna do it,
Pretend to be someone else. I don't get it.
no. It means, so for example, I like the fact that everyone knows I'm a rabbi. Why do I like it? So if you see, I'm in a way, I'm embarrassed. I want to tell everybody uses the bathroom. Like, now you're going to go around showing how you use the bathroom. I don't want to know about it. You pick your nose, but don't do it in front of me. There's certain things you should not do. And there's a famous Gemara, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. He was one of the rabbis to live 120. So he was getting to the end of his life. And the Talmidim, his students, came in and said, Rabbeinu, bless us. So what was his blessing? Yiratzon, shetiyeh yirat Hashem, yirat basar v'dam. May you fear God as you fear people. And the students went, excuse me? Rabbi, come on, what is this? What are you saying? What, we fear people more than we fear God? And the rabbi said, yes. You understand? So the more people know you a certain way, the less likely you're going to do something wrong. So the more people know I'm a rabbi, I have 5 married kids and my wife, and I'm afraid to be seen holding some other. The Gemara says, when you go outside, don't hold your wife's hands. How do I know it's your wife? Maybe, oh wow, Michael, who's this nice looking girl over there? Like, does everybody know who's his wife? I know his wife, for example. You know what I mean? Like, you see my point? You understand? So even outside, there is a concept of number one, how does everybody know? Number two, maybe somebody has an issue with his wife. And number three, when you're holding hands outside going like this, this guy, like son of a gun, he's like trying to rub it in me. He knows I have issues with my wife, and he's holding hands. Like he's going, love, I love you.
Mike really enjoyed it. You should do it again.
You know what I mean? So when we say don't judge, we're meant to say don't judge in a negative. Or don't automatically assume, oh my God, the rabbi went into McDonald's. Why is he drinking, iced coffee from a McDonald's? How did he get it? Little do you know that maybe the cup is, we got a shipment. We give a food pantry. So we got a shipment of McDonald's cups. So everybody's saying, Rabbi, why do we have McDonald's food in the shul? I said, it's not McDonald's, it's the cup. Yeah, the cup.
The plastic cup.
It's the plastic cup. By the way, the Coca-Cola and McDonald's is kosher. Don't go by there, but I'm just trying to say, simply because like sometimes we like to, oh, that's it? Oh my God. Oh, yeah. Look where is he going. You understand?
we like drama.
We like drama. Everybody loves drama. You understand?
Yeah.
So that's not. Number two, We don't know why a person on vacation did what they did. You understand? Like, my wife was not going to walk around on her. I tell her, like, this is where to show. Like, you see, this is a guy thing. Like, listen, we don't have cameras in the house. Keep your head uncovered. She says, I don't feel comfortable. You know, like, do you understand? Like, so, you know, I don't care how what my wife dresses, you know, as long as she doesn't say who's her husband, you know, like, she's not doing it for me. Like, she's not, you understand? So I don't like it when guys tell their wives what to wear, what not to wear.
It's a very common issue, though.
Yeah, because you know why? Because it's not your job. You understand? You're not here, like, you're not supposed to go to your wife, who's your daddy? You're not her daddy, you understand? Like, who's your daddy? It's like, who's your daddy? She has a daddy, you understand? I'm not here to control her, you know? My wife is not going to control me, you know? She lets me cheat. No, doesn't mean I'm not going to cheat because of her. I'm not allowed to cheat because it's not allowed. What is that?
I was waiting for your reaction.
I just wanted to hear if the rabbi said that correctly.
Yeah. No, my point is, when you do something because of someone or
somebody else,
other than, I tell people, the reason why I'm not cheating is the same reason I eat cheeseburgers. Do you eat cheeseburgers? Does your wife let you eat
Vegan cheeseburgers.
I'm sorry. I mean, you know what I mean? My point is, that's what I meant to say, that it's a way of life. Don't do something because of her. I don't want my wife, she's my wife. She's not my mommy. She's not going to say, did you eat your breakfast today? Excuse me, if I want, I'll eat. Like I had a guy, he says, Rabbi, if my wife does not give me lunch, I'm going to go to McDonald's. So I'm trying to understand, like, what does your wife giving you lunch have to do with McDonald's? So if she doesn't give you lunch, you go to the store, there's a lot of kosher options. Yeah. Why are you going to McDonald's? So like, why is it her fault that you're going to go to McDonald's? Oh, that's it, Rabbi, I'm not coming to shul. Why? My wife, she made me upset. Why are you taking it out on God? So if your wife make you upset, don't talk to your wife. What has to do with going and putting on tefillin? You know what I mean? It's like, to me, that's...
So if I understand the Rav correctly, you're saying that the women have to want to dress properly according to Torah from their own inner desire and understanding, correct?
Yes.
They have to want to love to do it.
You know why? Because if they do it for different reasons...
It's not genuine.
Number one, forget the reason, forget the genuine part. I don't care about what you feel like. Believe me, I don't like to wear a suit and a tie. Believe me, like one time people saw me in shorts. Oh my God, you're wearing shorts. I said, I'm underwear also. Like, what does that mean? What does that mean? I have shorts. Of course I have shorts. It's the perception. I dress the way I dress because I have an image to uphold. You understand? If you are an officer, and I don't know you're an officer, you cannot blame me for talking to you like, who the hell are you?
You have to identify yourself.
You understand? You have to identify yourself. What is your identity? Mm-hmm. Are you a Jew? Like I tell people, do you look like a Jew? Or do you talk like a Jew? Do you eat like a Jew? What does that mean? When I go outside, I want people to know I'm a Jew. I'm not embarrassed. I'm not going to take this off. I went to Uzbekistan. I wore this. I didn't wear a baseball cap.
You got a 4 instead of a 5 because you're a Jew.
Yeah, I said that. Like, I'm going to rub it in. I'm going to Jew. What does this mean? What am I embarrassed? What am I doing? What am I? Am I convict? Am I on the wanted list? I don't understand that. We have to be proud. We have to be, and the woman has to understand. That's my wife's job. That's my job to tell her why she should wear a clothes over here, why this size. You know, again, because we guys, okay, take off your clothes, even better, you know, like put on tight clothes, the more revealing, the better. The woman has to understand she dresses the way she dresses, not because something's wrong with her. Women who are forced to dress in a certain way, they feel like, oh my God, I gotta hide my true beauty. That's not the reason you're dressing the way you're dressing. Nothing to do with hiding it. It has to do, we don't want guys to look at you. We want them to respect you for what you have here, not what you have on your...
So you know what they say? Very common immature response. Why are you looking?
Well, why
the guy shouldn't be looking.
Well, I'm sorry. Don't dress like that, I won't look.
Rabbi, there's a common question that we had on this podcast, and I would like to get your perspective on it. You spoke about the tragedy about your daughter. So I remember Ilya asked this question is, why do bad things happen to good people?
Oh, you just opened up a whole soup.
Yeah, but that's like I remember we spoke on this before, and we
Moshe
actually
Rabbeinu asked this question to
but
God.
we got a lot of traction on the comment section of like, oh, because sometimes people try so hard to be good, and their definition of good, whatever that is, either socially or spiritually, and then still bad things happen to them, and then it's like, but why?
So first things first. First of all, I believe what Rabbi Akiva said, not Shabbat Kuchabri Kolataba. Whatever Hashem does is for good. Again, I repeat, whatever God does is only for good.
Whether we understand it now or not.
Our conception of good or bad, I don't understand. Unfortunately, I belong to a group of parents who lost a child. And one of the things that I saw reading was pain is a reality. Suffering is a choice. Again, pain is a reality. It hurts. Oh, you better believe it hurts. It really hurts. So what do I do with the pain? Do I continue holding on to it? Or put it aside and continue living? And I tell people say, Rabbi, you only live once. No. You die once. You live every day. I have never met anyone who dies twice. You die once. And you're dead. Finished. Kaput. End of the time. End of the line. You live every day. What that means is just because you failed in certain areas one day, don't let it define you for the rest of your life. People feel like it's either or nothing. Either I'm going to wear a yarmulke, I'm going to put on tzitzit, I'm going to wear a suit.
5 tefillins.
That's it, 5 pairs of tefillin. I'm going to be praying all Akbar. No, I'm sorry. I'm just saying I'm going to go like all in or all out. I tell people, listen, take it easy. In Judaism, we have a concept, Tov me'at bekavana merov shelo bekavana. Do a little bit instead of a lot. With I don't know what the heck I'm doing. Do a little bit. Today you could come for shacharit, no problem. He used to come to my shul. I never told him, why you go somewhere else. I never said to anyone, I'm happy you go to shul. I don't care any shul. I wouldn't be happy if you go to a mosque. If you're Jewish, if you're Muslim, go to a mosque, for sure. If you're Christian, go to a church. But go to a synagogue. Go to a synagogue you feel comfortable. He's my witness. I never stopped anyone saying, why you go to my son, don't come to me. We were next door to each other. People look at me like I'm crazy.
Not
Rabbi,
next door.
Yeah, next
wall,
door.
literally wall to wall.
Like, why you let people go there? I say, excuse me. I believe, like I said in the beginning, Judaism is a religion of choice. That's why Jews will always be a minority among all other religions, because you choose to be Jewish. For you not to be Jewish is very easy. Don't keep anything. That's it. Finish. Kaput.
Rabbi, you're still going to be Jewish. Still going to be judged as a Jew. You're born Jewish, you die Jewish.
Obligated by the Torah.
No. One second. Yes, but there are a lot of Jews who are buried in non-Jewish cemeteries.
Okay.
There's a lot of Jews who didn't know they're Jewish. Like I know somebody, his mother's Jewish. And so he thinks he's not Jewish because he thinks it's based on the father.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know people like that too.
And then I know somebody who knows they're Jewish, but it's Judaism is too hard. We go according to the Christian.
There's many people like that.
But you understand? So why?
That's Tinok Shenishba.
Exactly. The question is, I see this again. The bottom line is, we are not here to judge. So, going back to the question, why do good things happen to bad people?
No,
That's a million.
Bad things
Oh, I'm
happen.
sorry. I'm sorry. Why do?
But
both,
I'm
both
sorry.
work.
So that's one of the questions the Rambam asked. Rabbi Moshe ben Maimonides asked the question: for everything in the world has a plus minus. As much as there's cold, there is hot. As much as there's darkness, there's light. Balance. There's one thing that's not balanced. How long does it take to build something?
A long time.
How long does it take to destroy?
Much faster.
Second.
The Twin Towers. It took almost 14 years to build it. It was destroyed in half an hour. I saw it in front of my eyes. Collapsed. What the heck? Not equal. I could destroy 32 years of my marriage with my wife by my own stupid action. There goes, that's it, finished, kaput. 32 years. That's not fair. That's the question the Rambam says. We don't know answer to. The second thing was mentioned, in our eyes, the perception of, like Moshe Rabbeinu, he said himself, like he saved the whole generation. How many times? 10 times. Moshe says himself, 10 times the Jewish people got angry to a point where I want to destroy. And he's changed God's mind,
So to speak.
so to speak. But he couldn't change when God said, you're not going to Israel.
Right.
So to us, it looks like God is not merciful. You know? So again, I believe what happened over a year ago, it was meant to be. And between my wife and I, if God wants my daughter, let be it. Because I know a lot of people who are in coma. I know somebody who's 5 years in a coma. 5 years, this guy is in a coma. And the parents, they don't work anymore. The father came to my house. He said, why did God take your daughter? Why didn't he take my son? He was screaming, crying. He says, your daughter didn't deserve to be taken. And I told him, nobody deserves. We don't understand. Like, this is where you have to just say, those who believe don't have questions. Those who don't, there's no answers. If you don't believe, no matter what I tell you, you're not gonna accept the answer. So it's based on that concept. Would I rather have my daughter in a coma and a veggie? That's what the doctor said. If your daughter would be alive, she would be a vegetable. She had severe head trauma. You know what I mean? And again, pain, for sure. Am I going to feel it? Of course. My wife, my daughter, you know, she keeps telling me, oh, you know, you're still lucky, Daddy. I said, I'm lucky. Why am I daddy? You still have a daughter. I don't have a sister. So I told her, no. Like the reporter asked me, so how many kids do you have now? I still have 8 kids. She says, but God took your daughter. I said, yeah. So I had a daughter in this world. Now my daughter is in the next world. But she's still my daughter. You understand? It's like asking how many parents do you have? I had a father and I have a mother. My father passed away 29 years ago. This Shabbat is going to be his yahrzeit. Doesn't mean I didn't have a father. There's not a time I don't think about him. You know, he would have been 84. My father was 54 when he passed away. You know what? So the question is, how do you look at it?
How do you accept it, Rob?
Huh?
How does one accept it?
You don't have a choice. You understand? Like I said, pain is real. Suffering is a choice. By me not accepting it, what am I doing? By not accepting, what am I doing?
You're choosing suffering.
Denying.
Huh?
You're choosing suffering.
Exactly. I don't want to, because you know, whatever I do, my daughter's not going to come back. I mean, hopefully when she comes, then she'll come back. And that's what David HaMelech said. So we have a lot of role models. We have a lot of role models where you have to accept it. You know, just to give you the Kalava Rebbe, Zichron Livracha, Rabbi Menachem Mendel Taub was the previous Kalava Rebbe. He was the first rabbi I saw in 1980. So I'm looking at this guy, he had no beard. The previous Kalava Rebbe was 96 when he passed away in 2019. He was born in Transylvania, Romania, 1925. So he was experimented by Dr. Mendelssohn, you know, like the doctor from the horror doctor during Nazi Germany when they came in. He had no beard. They pulled out his beard from his face. And they did so many experiments, he was childless. He did 96 years old, he never had a child. They killed his whole family in front of him.
He was childless for a reason? Or?
No, because they experimented.
The Nazis.
They did all different experiments.
Or is it 96?
He was 96 years old.
He died 96 years old.
No children.
With no children. He has no children. The Kalava Rebbe who's sick now, that's his nephew.
They experimented before?
Of course. So when they came to Transylvania in 1943, he was 18 years old. They experimented on him in horrific ways you could never understand. And the point is that, so they asked him, how do you continue living? And I saw this rabbi, and I remember thinking, what kind of a rabbi is clean shaven? I didn't know the guy couldn't have, he has payas. And he wrote a Sefer Menachem, and he says the greatest person who went through suffering is Aaron HaKohen. Aaron, who was the high priest.
Right.
On the day of the inauguration, that's why Bukharians say, Toyo Beniki Moshe, the wedding should be in a good way, because what happened? Can you imagine the day of the inauguration, of the coming down of the God's presence in this world? On that day, the high priest, who's 83 years old, he loses his 2 children in front of his eyes. God takes them. And the Torah says, V'idom Aaron. Aaron kept quiet. Yeah. God, you want to take my kids? You couldn't find any 2 other days? Like in front of everyone. In front of everyone. Like it's not like, okay, oops, they went to sleep and they forgot to breathe or something like that, Like, like
on a happy occasion.
On the happiest occasion, all the things. Yeah. So the Kalev Rebbe he wrote a beautiful pshat, which I read. He wrote, it says Zot. Zot means with this. Can you imagine for the next 38 years, every year on Yom Kippur, we read Acharei Mot, the death of Aaron's 2 sons. Like, can you imagine for the next 38 years, he's the high priest, he has to go inside and be reminded of the day that he has to go into the place where his 2 sons died. How do you live with yourself? And what's the answer? Bezot Yavo, with this. Aaron told himself that this is God's will. God took my sons. I wasn't negligent. I wasn't, like I tell people, how many people go on jet skis? How many people, clean filters? Like, come on. Like, so the answer is, and the proof of it is, my daughter was in the front. She got hit first. She survived. Her sister, who was in the back, go figure. And the answer is, God took whoever he thought he needed. And the second thing is, no matter what happens, my grandmother used to always say, it could be always worse. What that means is, don't make it worse. And if God had to take it, better this way. And now, in hindsight, I see if my daughter would have been alive and her older sister would have gone, my daughter wouldn't be able to handle it. God took my baby because she was the one who was a peace lover. She was the one who would always run away when her siblings would fight. So it was, and because my older daughter, she's more vocal. She's like her daddy. And my younger daughter was like her mommy, quiet, just different. So you see, it's a concept of how do you look at it. That it's a perspective of what does it mean good? What does it mean bad? It's I feel it's very fluid. I would like to think that we all have enemies. But I like to know that for one enemy I have 10 friends. Unfortunately, I've met people, for one friend, they have 10 enemies. I'm sorry, including rabbis. Oh my God, how do you have to, I like to feel like, I have enemies. I don't know them, but, I forgive them. But I know that for one enemy, at least I have 10 friends. And it was shown, and, I like to say, keep your friends close, keep your enemies even closer. Just keep them, My father used to always say, I never saw anyone get a heart attack from saying I'm sorry. You get a heart attack from being stubborn. From saying I'm sorry, it doesn't hurt, It
just requires you to break your ego, which people don't really want to do.
And you can't be egotistical. If God could forgive, again, forgiving is not forgetting. Don't confuse the two. Don't forget. If I hit you and I ask you forgiveness, okay. If I hit you again, then excuse me, Rabbi, don't hit me. Just Don't stop asking me, why did I hit you again? Because I forgot. So don't forget. So I tell people, forgiving is not forgetting. Don't forget. Forgive, but don't forget. Because if you forget, you'll repeat it again. Smart people learn from their mistakes. Foolish people repeat their mistakes.
I thought it was smart people learn from other people's mistakes.
Sometimes you also make mistakes, We also make mistakes. And I tell people all the time, people 100% are no longer alive. The fact that we're alive, that means I have a mission. I have to continue. And, choose to live. A good person has 24 hours. A bad person has 24 hours. It's your choices that define what kind of a person you are. Both good and people have 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. What makes one person good and one of the bad is the choices in life.
Your choices define who you are.
Exactly.
You have any more questions for Rabbi?
Rabbi, over the past year, how do you think your perspective on anything changed with this tragedy, or with, what impact has it really had on you as a person?
I never understood the concept. What my grandmother used to always say, coming out depends on you. Coming back depends on God. I never internalized it in myself.
Like coming out of your house?
Like
When you leave your house in the morning.
in other words, I never internalized the fact that in a second everything could change. I always thought nothing could go wrong. What are you talking about? And I'll get in the car, I'll drive, I'll come here, and I go, hello, whoa. Be appreciative. I did not understand how delicate life is. For me, my daughter's passing will always be a wake-up call, because I got a ton of brick thrown in my face, saying, hello, hey, don't fly. Just, it made me realize that, today might be my last day. Don't go upset. Don't go to sleep upset. It made me realize that the concept of do tshuva a day before you die. One of my biggest things, I was very happy that this happened in Florida and not here, is because I'm a very busy person. I'm getting phone calls. But when this happened, I didn't have my cell phone. I was in the middle of the desert. I had full attention on my daughter, and I always felt bad. Maybe I didn't give her enough attention. Maybe I wasn't there, and it's something that will haunt me for the rest of my life. And now I understand where God does not want to tell you your last day. Because if I would have known that that day my daughter drove in the car will be her last day, I wouldn't get upset. What I got upset about? Stupidity. Is this how my daughter she remembers me like this, the day, the last day of her life, and she remembers her father going crazy? And this is something that we always have to remember. Don't go to sleep upset. Don't make people upset. Just live life to the fullest.
Right. Everybody makes us want to cherish our time more.
Exactly.
Time is the most precious commodity that we have.
Yeah, there's one thing that's more precious than time. And with this, I want to end. The Gemara says how people are foolish. Adam doeg al damav ve'eno doeg al yamav. It's people worry about their money, the possessions, but they don't worry about their time. Damav lo ozrim bo, ve'amav lo chozrim bo. You need your money to help you. I don't feel good. I got old. I want to stay young. I want to stay vital. The money's not going to help you. You're sick already. Forget about it. That's it. And let me get younger again. You will never be young. I mean, just before Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, that's why we count the years. Like, who cares? 57, 86, 87, 28, who cares? And the answer is, because when you live for a certain time, you make the best of your time. Don't waste your time. Don't waste it, because you'll never get a second chance for a first impression. And I really learned that the hard way.
Thank you, Rabbi, for making time to
Thank
come,
you.
sharing
Appreciate
your thoughts. Baruch atah b'Gan Eden.
Amen.
And
Thank
should
you.
have a very
Thank you, Rav.
successful
Thank
year.
you guys. Thank you very much. Shana Tova.
I just want you to know that I wanna go